What's going on, man?
What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Appreciate you for jumping on here.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Appreciate you having me, man. We actually just got back home, bro, from Winston-Salem, so appreciate you having us on, man.
I saw you had a closing today. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, man. It's we've been rocking and rolling, man. A lot of people don't know, but man, I still have a day job, and my wife's really the glue, man. She'll give me information to sellers and everything, bro, to make stuff happen. So she's really a key piece to helping build this empire, bro.
Nah, that's dope. So I put out some of the flyer. I just kind of told people your some of your basic background from Division One basketball to being an entrepreneur now. Keeping your day job. That's something I definitely want to touch on throughout this. But for 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 everybody just jumping on here, I want to give you the opportunity to kind of introduce yourself and give your background.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Jalen Carruthers. I went to Radford University, which is a Division One school in Virginia. Got my jersey back there in the office and some posters. Um, after Radford, I always knew I wanted to get into real estate, and I always wanted to figure out how can I escape the rat race, right? What is a way that I can be with my family and have that passive income? So I went to Radford, played D1 ball. After Radford, I played in Germany and Australia for a little bit. Things didn't work out with injuries. With my agent, I found myself coming back to the States a little sooner than I expected. And I ended up finding a job at Verizon Wireless. Actually, a lot of people don't know, but I was a door greeter, man. 6'8" at the time, 240-pound door greeter, right? So that was a huge lesson in humility for me, and I think it really helped jumpstart the hunger that I had to create something different for myself. So that's when I really started getting into wholesaling real estate about 4 years ago. So I started, wholesaling real estate properties, which wholesaling is pretty much assigning a contract for a property because I didn't have that much capital saved up to actually purchase the property myself. So I would get the property under contract from a distressed owner for whatever situation they were distressed, and then I would assign that contract to an end buyer for usually between a 2K to 10K profit on those properties. So we did a couple of those. I was able to build my capital. I continued to work my way up in the corporate world. And now me and my wife, recently married, we've been able to acquire 7 doors in the past year.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
you're moving 7 doors in a year. That's moving.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, you there's a lot in there. Obviously, I want to unpack, but one of the things I wanted to ask you is, okay, so you went from playing basketball to real estate. You said you wanted to do real estate. Playing basketball, obviously, you're around people who are very different and different in their mindset, just meaning like very focused on basketball. Like,
For
because I
sure.
know I played Division 3 basketball. None of us was thinking about real estate. We weren't having those type of conversations. It was parties and girls and whatever else was going on at the time. So when you knew that you wanted to be in real estate, what was that like? Like, what was that shift like? Did you know that you were having like a mindset shift to have to put yourself in that position, or what was that like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it even started back in high school when I would see my father work third shift, for 20 something years to provide and put food on the table. I would see my mother working for a corporation for 20, 30 years, working overtime, to put food on the table. And I knew at that moment that, I appreciated everything they did, right? But I knew at that moment that I wanted something different for my family. I wanted, that time equity back. So going into college, that was my goal. Of course, I wanted to play at the next level, but I also wanted to connect with individuals in college, right? And I also use some of those connections today with lenders and different things, individuals that I met while in college. And I knew that I wanted to create something where there was capital that I made from overseas, where there was loans, whatever way I could get into the real estate game, I tried that. So that's really where that mindset shift happened when I was in high school, kind of just seeing my parents, do the daily grind for over 20 something years, and which they're still doing it today, and they're happy in that. And that's something that they enjoy. But for me, I knew that's something different that I wanted to do.
So were there naysayers? Were people around you? Were there people that like didn't believe in you? Like, how did you combat that?
Oh yeah, man. Even within my own family at times, right? They always say the the first one in the family is usually the most ridiculed. They want to do something different. I remember I had a conversation with my grandmother, and I was telling her what I wanted to do, and she said, investing, that's very, very risky. Growing up in that age, they always hear about the losses or things, right? So even my grandmother, just talking with her about things, and she said that's risky. So having to just live things down, right? We have a big saying, live it down, right? Keep working, keep grinding, let the results speak for themselves. So I was able to overcome a lot of naysayers or rejection or just doubt by just producing their results.
Okay, so are you still wholesaling now, or do you have a different way of building your capital and doing deals?
Yeah, so we've really changed our business model. We have a lot of different ways to dispo a property. If wholesaling works, we'll make wholesaling work. If it's buy and hold, we'll buy and hold. If it's fix and flip, we'll also do that. I also have another partner who's helping me with some fix and flips in real estate. But my capital usually comes from I do a little bit in the stock market and foreign exchange market, and then just working my job. I may work my way into leadership with Verizon Wireless, so I'm able to make a decent salary, and that's how we build our capital to get into real estate. That was our first property, and then after our first property, we used the Burr method, right? So we were able to take the equity out of the property that we purchased cash. We were able to take that equity out and put it into another property. So people that aren't familiar with the Burr method is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. And that's something that me and my wife kind of discussed. It's known as more of a risky real estate method. But we were buying properties such discounted that even with the Burr method, we still had equity in the property, even when we pulled out 70% loan to value of the property.
So the Burr method, were those properties, did you just pick them up, or did you guys live in one, or
No, so when I got back from Australia and I got on at Verizon, I went ahead and bought my own home, which was a huge mistake. I wish I would have house hacked. If I knew now what I knew then, I would have house hacked into a duplex or something of that sort. But no, I bought my own single family home, 4 bedrooms, um, and that was the first property I bought. To get into the investment property, it was just capital that we had saved up. We put it into the property. It was an off market deal that we actually found from Zillow for sale by owner. Um, and I'll get into the numbers. We bought 2 properties from the same owner for $29,000. One was a single family, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. The other was a duplex, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath on each side, which was a no-brainer for me. So looking at that deal, right, we sat down, we ran the numbers. I met with the contractor. I said, I need to stay under this budget. He said, okay, it's gonna be about 30,000 in repairs. So now we're all in, right, for 59,000, 60,000 to be even, right? Materials, labor, 60,000. So that single family, somebody was already living in there, so that it was already rented, bringing in 350 a month, which we have to paint and change, swap out some flooring to increase that to 500 a month. And the duplex is going to rent for 700 each side. That's on the low market rent side, 700 on each side. So that's a positive cash flow of 1750. And we did a cash out refi to pull the equity back out. We pulled out 60K because if you own the property less than a year, they only let you usually do the cost of purchase plus the cost of rehab is what you can pull out of the property. After a year, you can use the appraised value. So we pulled out the costs plus the renovations of that property, which was 60K. The payment on that 60K is 450 bucks a month. So the one single family is able to cover the cost of that cash out refi. We have 1,400 positive cash flow coming in, and now we have 60K to go down the line that we use towards the purchase of these other 4 doors. So it's a continual process. What happens to a lot of individuals, they get upside down because they pull too much equity out. And if, which we know the market right now is at an all-time high pretty much for demand, right? It's a seller's market. So when that starts to shift, when that correction in the market starts to happen, you don't want to be caught upside down on your loan. So we make sure that we're only at those properties easily will appraise for 50,000 a piece. The duplex probably about 60,000. So we have 110,000 in equity. We only pull 60 out. So if we ever need to sell those properties, we know that we can at least cover the debt that's owed on the cash out refi.
No, that's perfect. So
Yeah,
that's a great mix, and it's mainly because you're able to find discounted properties. If you weren't
exactly.
able to find discounted properties, something like that wouldn't work.
For sure. And these things are, you know, a dime a dozen, but you have to put the time. And that's where my wife comes in so valuable, man. She's looking, perusing, looking at Zillow for sale by owner, Craigslist, looking at other avenues, has wholesalers information, and we just go on and we make it happen as a team.
That's awesome. So she's doing. Are you are you guys using a lot of systems and processes to kind of automate the business, or is it mainly your stuff coming pretty much organically in terms of driving for dollars and you know calling the for sale by owners?
Yeah, it's very much organic and hands-on. We're starting to add more systems as we continue to create more revenue, but our goal is to keep our upfront costs as low as possible right now. So we're not spending any money really marketing. We were when we were wholesaling. As we changed our business model, our budget changed. So we're not spending any money marketing. Um, the partners that we have for our flips, they are spending a little bit of money marketing, but we only split the revenue from the flips 60/40 because they are spending the money marketing. And we help close the deal, and we bring in our contractors to get a lot of the work done. So
So is that where that partnership comes in? What is your role in what are the roles in that partnership as far as you know the breakdown of putting a deal together?
so for the flips, the partner has a $1.1 million line of credit right now. They put so they're the capital, and they're the marketing budget. Where myself and my wife come in at, we're the closers to closing the leads, and the estimates, and we bring our team in, as far as like contractors to come in and get the work done. The investor also has a team as well, so we kind of offset. We only hold maybe 2 to 3 properties at a time,
Okay.
to get that done. So yeah, so you know, it's time equity, right? A lot of time people with the money don't necessarily have the time to do some of the dirty work, where we have a little bit more of the time because we're building that capital, right? We have a 2-year goal, vision to be where we want to be, where now we can get the $1 million line of credit from the bank because we have close to $500,000 in property equity that we can leverage, right? So we're working our way there, and continue to build that.
Okay. No, that's awesome.
Relationships, man, they're so huge. They're so huge.
No, that
Hey,
definitely.
y'all.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know who that is, but I'm trying to wave to the people as they come in, try to acknowledge them as they come in. But
That's Elise, man. She's a huge shout out to Elise, man. She's a huge Forex trader in the market. She's helped me really build my capital with Forex, man. So if you guys have any questions, Forex, hit up
yeah,
Elise. Shout out to Global Legacy Trade House as well, Kedrick and Pat. I saw Pat join earlier as well. Shout out to them.
I actually wanted to let's get into that a little bit because here's what people the thing about forex, right? And let's
Right.
we're going to get the elephant out the room because on our show
For
is
sure. It's real, right?
so the elephant in the room is obviously you have a lot of these bots and you have a lot of these people, you know, just kind of everybody join forex, but nobody can really tell you how to like actually trade in the market. So break it down to us as far as like your experience with forex.
Yeah. So foreign exchange, man, it's just a trading of currencies, right? So if I were to get on a plane and travel to Australia again, I would have to exchange my currencies for their currency. I couldn't take a $1 bill and try to spend it. It's not going to work, right? So in the forex market, it's a lot more liquidity than that you would find in the stock market, right? So that means there's a lot more opportunities to make money. There's also a lot more opportunities to lose money. Where a lot of people get confusion that there's a couple of companies out there. I'm not going to say their names because I don't want to be sued, right? So there's a couple companies out here who are focused on multi-level marketing side of things, which means signing people up and recruiting people. Sometimes they're not as focused, on people understanding and learning the basics of trading. So I started that way. Once I was able to understand and learn, I teamed up with a few people, and we and we teamed up with a few people, and we end up, you know, starting our own forex company, and really focusing on helping individuals learn. I ended up selling the company to a good friend of mine. His name is Pat, and now he runs the company, but I still help on those side of things. But yeah, it's basics, just learning support and resistance lines, understanding the currencies, staying up to breast with current events. Like just like I think some people saw that President Trump is has symptoms of COVID, right? That
Mhm.
affects the market, right? So playing on current events, news events, different world events, really affect foreign exchange and things of that nature. So
So the company that you sold to Pat that and he joined earlier, right?
yep.
So the company that they sold, is it something that anybody could just walk in and say, hey, I wanna learn to forex trade?
For sure, yes. Global Legacy Trade House, www.glth.us. And yeah, it's anybody can join, man. I'm gonna teach my daughter, man, as soon as she can start reading, right, how to look at charts. That's all it is looking at charts, looking at historical events that's happened before and in the past, and following those current events, right? One of the slogans that we always hear is history repeats itself. That is very true. Looking at historical data, and looking at past events, history repeats itself. So we're just following the trend of how history is going. One of the things I focus on, I love trading commodities, which is gold. I love trading gold. Gold was on a bullish run for the past 3 months during the whole pandemic. If you had just pressed buy on gold and just held, you'll be sitting pretty right now. So it's a lot of different ways to get into the foreign exchange market. But I would definitely seek some type of mentorship or guidance, and learn. And shout out to Elise at Epic, for what they're doing too, man. They're crushing it out there.
Now, that's what's up, and I like how you gave people their props, man. That's like you know, that's real. That's like people not hating on each other, just you know, spreading the love out there. You know, so many people concentrate on the hate
Yeah,
instead of just you know spreading positivity. So I appreciate that.
yeah,
But
for sure.
what was I did have something else I wanted to ask you. Okay, so if if you were a mentor, if you are a mentor, what do you say is like your top three or top five like keys to success?
Um, Sorry, I had a phone call come through. Number one, you have to read, man. A lot of people don't read. There's an old saying, if you want to hide something, put it in a book, man. You have to read. You have to have self-education. You want to have to get better. You want to have to love. You want to have to learn. You want to have to really understand what you need. Number two would be self-care. And I think this is where a lot of people drop the ball and don't understand, man. Like people say, oh man, I stay up late nights, early mornings, right? That's a true saying, but you can only do that for a certain period. It's not something that you can do for a super long time, because if you continue to do that, your body's going to break down. I mean, you can see it in your skin, you can see it in your teeth, your hair, your body. You know, success isn't just, it's about natural, physical wealth as well. So self-care, man, and the first and main thing is just Christ, bro. Keeping Christ first. Like everything that I've talked about or that I'm doing, none of this is possible without Christ, bro. The wisdom that He's continued to give me, the guidance and the leadership that He's continued to give me, it's amazing compared to worldly knowledge, bro. So it's all really Him, bro. And I'm just a vessel that He uses, man. Sometimes I don't even feel worthy. I'm like, man, like why me? But it's all Christ. So that's the three things I would definitely say are important to the people that I do mentor and I talk to. Those are the things that you have to pay attention to and have.
No, that's dope. That's dope. Those are definitely three things I could identify with, especially like you being a parent. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
very important that you take all of those things into consideration, especially knowing that you know being a parent is probably the most biggest responsibility that you know that we hold. So,
yeah.
no, that's dope. All right, and so obviously the show is called "Problem Solvers Get Paid." When I say that saying to
I
you,
forgot my hoodie, man. My hoodie's hanging up in the
it's
closet,
all
man.
good, bro. It's all good. But when I say that saying to you, like, what does it mean to you? Like, what does like, why do you identify with that saying?
That's why I support the brand, bro, because that saying, that mantra, that slogan is so impactful, bro. Like just think about it. Any problem that someone faces, if you're able to help them solve that problem, your value is unmeasurable, right? So look at real estate, right? Real estate is nothing but problem solving, whether it's title issues, whether it's lien issues, whether it's probate issues, whatever it is, right? You're solving a problem and presenting a solution to the seller, whether you're wholesaling or trying to buy and hold yourself, right? There was a slogan that I heard, or a saying that I heard a long time ago, right? You're paid by the level of problems that you solve, right? So if you make $1 million+ or whatever, you're solving some high major problems, like whether it's in the tech field, which the tech industry is going crazy right now, whether it's in whatever arena that it's in, man, solving problems is the key to life. And if you can solve people's problems or individuals' problems, then you're going to be very, very, very wealthy.
Yeah, that's real shit. That's honestly what I get out of it. And like for me, you know, I started on my intro is just saying like not every time like you know you talked about it being like unmeasurable. Like I think that that's the perfect word to use for it, because not every time does the payment come in the form of a dollar. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
sometimes it's just the joy in serving people, like knowing that you are
Right.
doing God's work. Like that, sometimes that's payment enough. That's why the saying means a lot. So I definitely feel you on that. And you mentioned that reading was a part of your keys to success. So if you could just recommend like one or two books that people could use to get started. Okay.
Man, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Chris Voss was a FBI negotiator before he wrote the book. And he goes into some really, really deep psychological tactics that help you in business and help you when negotiating. Like using phrases like, how can we make that happen? Right? So I'm talking to a seller. He's like, yeah, I can't come down on that price, or I'm not able to meet that. Well, if you could, how could we make that happen? Right? Now you're putting the onus on them to talk to you about how can we make this work, right? What are some things that we can do to get the ball rolling in place? Well, we would need this, and this, and this, right? So that's definitely a book that I recommend. My wife actually bought me two books. I put them in my office somewhere. Think she may have set them on the bookcase over there already. But this one's also another one, Landlording on Autopilot. And I think now we're to the point where we're going to turn over some stuff to a property management company because we want to work on the business, not in the business. But Landlord on Autopilot's helped us tremendously streamline what we have for our tenants to make sure that we're doing everything followed by North Carolina Real Estate Board and regulations, and just continuing to make sure that we understand and stay abreast on pitfalls and things that can happen in real estate. Talks about having a reserve, keeping a percent of your profits for reserve for maintenance. Talks about making sure you save for taxes at the end of the year. So just basic landlord and principles that a lot of individuals miss when they're running their numbers. That helps a lot of people.
Appreciate the recommendation. So, is there anything that we missed that you want to touch on? That did we talk about your latest, the new flip? We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that. We
Okay.
talked
So
about the
did we,
Bird
did we,
method.
did we miss anything that you wanted to go over?
No, man. I mean, the main thing is don't quit. That's the main thing, man. There were plenty times that I wanted to give up through the process, man. Whether we was going through a rehab, whether we was going through a flip, whether we were trying to crunch numbers and acquire a property. Um, and one thing someone told me that really stuck with me was, don't dig up in doubt what you planted in faith. And that really hit me because going on this real estate journey was complete faith. And as soon as some doubt creeps up, don't dig up that plant. Don't dig it up. Keep going, water it, go even harder for it, right? And watch it sprout. So that's one of the things that really, really, really stand out to me. And I just want to shout you out, bro, for what you're doing, man, and how many people you're helping and just getting this going, man. This is going to help so many people and continue to spread the knowledge, man. I feel like the only way that we continue to be in a system that wasn't created for us is helping one another, right? That's the only way that we can do this is helping one another. So I'm an open book, man. Anyone can reach out. They can DM me. They can text me. I can give out my phone or whatever it is. I'm an open book, willing to help anybody learn and continue to build.
I appreciate that, man. That's honestly the biggest thing for me is just trying to get the information out there. And I know that sometimes it doesn't always mean as much coming from me. So that collaborative, that this communication, this dialogue, I think it will be very impactful too. So I appreciate you, man. You know how to find me if you need me. But thanks for coming on, and I'll definitely talk to you soon.
For sure, bro. Thanks for having me, man. And shout out to Problem Solvers, man. You guys keep doing your thing.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.